Hello beautiful, Cody here, always here to help you have the most healthy, glowing, and gorgeous skin. And today's video, I am coming out of the closet. Not that closet. I didn't never had a closet to come out of. But anyway, today's video I'm going to talk about something I've never really talked about on this channel. In detail and in a very more positive way, and that's benzoyl peroxide. If you should use benzoyl peroxide, is benzoyl peroxide definitely an option for you, or should you stick with salicylic acid? I've already done videos about which one should you choose, and I've already shared my experience and my opinions and my beliefs about my preference of salicylic acid. But I will say this, as a professional, benzoyl peroxide can be very effective for very stubborn acne, and one of the main reasons is because benzoyl peroxide, it has been documented, has been researched to be very effective at killing bacteria and helping with inflammation. So if you're somebody that has not had much luck with salicylic acid or retinol or retin-A or alpha hydroxy with your acne, then definitely benzoyl peroxide can be very effective. But one of the main reasons I've not been a big fan of benzoyl peroxide in the past is because I used it, I was prescribed it, these very high percentages, I burned my face, I got discoloration, my skin was raw and red and horrible, and if you've used it, if you've used benzoyl peroxide, you know what I'm talking about. Retin-A can be very similar, and then it stained everything I own, so that was terrible also. And I just personally didn't have much success with benzoyl peroxide, but that doesn't mean that other people can't have success. And I always want to be fair, I always want to be in the middle. Even if I have an opinion about salicylic and I think it's better or like it or prefer it more, it doesn't mean that I don't want to share here some tips for people that may be struggling with their skin that could benefit from benzoyl peroxide. So this is what I think. If you are going to try to use benzoyl peroxide, use it in the lowest percentage available. All this stuff with 10% washes, 10% creams, gels, all that stuff, I think it's just too much, because what happens, just like with retin-A and other acids or other agents that are a little bit more aggressive, you can start using it and then you'll back off from using it because you're going to get too much irritation, redness, and flaking, and we don't want that. So I'm going to share a couple tips with you on how to use benzoyl peroxide in a very great way so that you can stay on it, just like with retin-A. I've always said you need to stay on it, it needs to be consistent. So if you use benzoyl peroxide as a spot treatment only, you need to know that it's only going to kill that little bit of bacteria. But below the surface of where you break out, there are microcomedones continue to come up to the surface. So if you only put benzoyl on that one spot, you're only killing that little spot. But below the surface is a colony of the acne and the bacteria and all that stuff. So you want to put it all over the area and then more on the spot. I hope that makes sense, unless you only have like one tiny little pimple and you're just using it literally as you only get a few breakouts from time to time. But if you're a person that's breaking out a lot, you need to get it all over the whole face and then more in the breakout area, or at least all over the whole face. Don't just put it on as a spot. And a trick to help yourself stay on it so that you don't get a lot of redness, irritation, and dryness is to wash your face, leave it dripping wet, maybe get your ears and underneath dried, but your face should have water on it a little bit, and then moisturize and let that soak in for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes most, and then you use the benzoyl peroxide. And doing that, what that will do is it'll help your cell to be very healthy and hydrated and plumped. And then when you put the medicine on, which is very drying and kind of irritating, it's going to be a little bit more friendly to the skin, and it's actually going to work a little better because water is a vehicle, and when your skin is hydrated instead of dehydrated, it accepts products more. It kind of can pull them in. It plays better with products. So that's a little trick, is to moisturize your face while it's still wet, 5 to 10 minutes before you put on the benzoyl peroxide, and then you put on the benzoyl peroxide. And then something else, if you are starting to get the irritation, then you want to do probably a moisture mask. And I'll leave a couple of them below. If you've been on my channel a while, you know that I love the Clinique Moisture Surge. I like the Kiehl's one. I like the one from Aveda. It doesn't really matter what you get. I just don't think it should be expensive. Just find one that you kind of like the ingredients with. And then you would also do moisture masks at least 3 times a week while you're using the benzoyl peroxide. Again, I think you should start off with a 2.5 if you can, and then you kind of work your way up. But in some of the research I've read, 2.5 has been clinically proven, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, to be as effective as 10%. So and the thing about 2.5 is you could use it morning and night, so you're getting more consistent. And that's the thing about benzoyl. it needs to be consistently put into the skin. So if you just do it whenever you feel like it, or when you start to notice breakout, it's not going to get that compounding effect of the medicine going deeper and deeper and deeper into the skin, because benzoyl peroxide, if you do use it, has the ability to also prevent that acne from coming up, especially if you use a little bit of retin-A or adapalene or differin with it. So I know I said a lot about benzoyl peroxide. I do think it's very effective for some people. I'll leave you with this. It can cause discoloration on the skin, and I don't care what anybody tells you, because I see hundreds of clients and I see it. Wherever they put benzoyl, they have discoloration or brown spots. Or wherever they do a spot treatment, they're going to get a little bit of post-inflammation hyperpigmentation if they're not obsessed with sunscreen and making sure they hydrate their skin. If your skin is super dehydrated, you are more susceptible to getting discoloration or just sun damage or just kind of issues on the skin, because the skin isn't flooded with a lot of love and moisture and nutrients. So it's going to get dried and it's going to react. And one way that it reacts can be, not always, is discoloration. So please be careful with discoloration. Be careful with benzoyl peroxide, making sure that you wear sunscreen and that you're getting and reapplying it on your skin, and just being very careful with that. All right, guys, I know I talked a lot today, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them below this video. And as always, stay gorgeous, and I'll see you really soon in a new video. Bye-bye.